feel like we might be able to get into the corners a little deeper than them. We just can't take advantage of it too much. We're on the inside there. Can we make that work? A little bit, a little bit. We're in front of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made the pass going into turn. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I am your host with the most, the Chronic Toast, and today we're diving back into Wreckfest, specifically our career mode, and even more specifically, the World Masters, where we are 1,910 points out of 3,600. Today, we're going to try to get enough points to unlock these last three items here on the right, and we're going to focus a little bit, I think, today and next series in the episodes on the Demolition Racing Series, the Sandpit Showdown. I'm pretty stoked about this. Now, this is going to be 8 races, so we might see some aspects definitely cut out of these, especially as they get a little bit longer. But I'm pretty darn stoked and excited about this. Now, we're going to be taking the Sunrise Super into this racing series, which I'm pretty excited about as well. I'm excited about a lot of things, but this is a very, very fun car to drive. It really, really reminds me of Lightning McQueen from the Disney movies as well. So it's just a fun vehicle, and I really love the way it handles until it tends to get a little bit too loose. But the first race here is at Savalix Sandpit Short Route, 1,179 yards, 6 laps. Grid size is 24, and it's going to be a single session here every single time we go through this, and I'm pretty excited about that. Of course, our standings are, we got some good competition, and of course, lastly, our options, we're on normal difficulty. So let's dive on in. We are at a 321 rated car, and we are not necessarily the top dog in this race, so this is going to be a little bit of a wee adventure where we're going to have to try very, very hard to make this count. Now, you can see there's amazingly beautiful, good-looking cars here. There are always some fantastic paint jobs here and everything that we've got going on. But for us specifically, I love the number 44. I love the black and white scheme on this. It just looks really, really, really good. I'm a huge, huge fan of that with a little bit of the red accents in there, which is always, always nice. Now, of course, we were talking about the standings. There's 322 road cutter that's higher than us. 304s, another 324 Sunrise Super, just like us. So there's going to be a little bit of difficulty and a little bit of fun as we go into this. Of course, we're always going to be automatic, half off, half an expert, and our tune is pretty standard for this portion of the series. So let's dive in, rev it up, watch those wheels spin. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let us get going. Now, we're going to be, again, trying to not necessarily race the cleanest through here. We are in the top-tier series, so drive-ins, follow-throughs, all that fun stuff from the top-tier banger series are kind of what you can expect. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have immediately worked our way up here to first place. We'll see if we can hang on to it and keep it. There's definitely going to be some competition here, and I am not the best navigating these particular corners on these sandpit tracks, especially with this car. This is something that I still struggle with quite a bit, and I'm definitely a good racer at this on definitely some of the C-Class and B-Class cars, but A-Series, this track is not necessarily my strong suit. But we're doing all right. We've got the AI here on Expert, and we're going to try to do what we can to stay here in the lead as we go through all of these laps. And if we're lucky, we'll get ourselves a podium finish, and if we're really lucky, we'll get ourselves here a first-place finish as well. You always want to make sure you don't cut that inside there. You'll roll your car, and it is, not only is it embarrassing, but it's expensive, both in, repairs, if it was the real world there, as well as just, it's embarrassing. So, yeah. But needless to say, we are doing our best. Looks like we have Poi back there, Ryza as well as Zapek trying to catch up. So we're going to do what we can, and we will see how that goes. Ladies and gentlemen, we messed up that jump there. You just saw it. Now, Poi up here is really trying to get into there and take over this position for us. And they are definitely, we got Ryza up here as well. So we have some competition. We are racing here on lap 4, going into lap 5 here for the lead, trying to keep these AI back here. And we're going to be a little bit dirty as we kind of, work our magic a little bit here and try to keep them from coming past us. Words are hard. I'm really trying to focus here on racing. The Sunrise Super really likes the back end to step out with how we've got it set up. And I'm really, really trying to feather the throttle quite a bit and really kind of focus on making sure we can make this happen. So fingers crossed. We're really messing up those racing lines, but maybe it'll work out there. Well, we don't want to go too wide and smack that rock. That'd be very, very unfortunate. So let's see what happens again. Oh, man, really going to try to make this a good, solid last lap here. As we're working through this. We got ourselves a little bit of room, so fingers crossed. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go, dealing with a little bit of lap traffic. We're sticking chicken stew back there, and we finished it. We've made it work. We've gotten ourselves our first win. I'm really, really excited about that. That means we're in a good position. Kind of see how the AI is kind of shaping up. So we're gonna be having Poi Six as well as Ryza definitely as contestants that we have to watch out for. Other racers out there that are gonna be higher tier. And as far as that, we have a few others we got to keep an eye on down there. Way further down there in 14th, we have Gound. We also have Mighty Boot back there, just behind them in a Dominator. And then, of course, 325 with Dakota Snake back there in 16th position. Now, right now, I'm not too worried about them, but we have to keep an eye on them because while they finished poorly here, if they finish a little bit higher with those relatively well-rated cars, we're going to be a little bit into a concerning situation. So fingers crossed we can make it work. Now, for those of you that are curious why our car is rated 321 and not necessarily 324, we do have one tier of upgrades left to go, which is going to be the camshaft going from, I believe, sport to race. We don't have upgraded. Everything else is upgraded on this car. And we're going to leave it as is right now. We entered the race a certain way. We're not going to be ripping apart the car, as it were. But you know what? It's a nice, fun number, 321. And we'll see what we can do here on the Sandstone Raceway main route reverse, 94% gravel. This is going to take a little bit of focus on this to make this functional and make this work so that the AI doesn't pass us and wreck us up. So this is a very, very good, fun rhythm track of sorts, but there are a couple really, really tight corners, and if you're not careful, you will get wrecked up hard, and this car does not have a lot of armor on it or structure, so fingers crossed we can make this a successful adventure. Everyone likes to go to the left, and then they basically like to go over here to the right. And in this case, it works out well because the track is a little bit different. I forgot. Usually you end up going there to the left up there. Oh, boy, there goes Poi. Well, we don't want to get... Oh, I was going to say we don't want to get too much on the inside lip there. We're going to roll our car. Thankfully, Saki over there managed to be in the way and prevented us from flipping over. I'm trying to remember this course. This is definitely not one that I've raced that often. And it's going to take a little bit of getting used to here. We're going to play a little bit of follow the leader. And hopefully it pays off. Okay, there's Ryza. We're definitely racing them for position. And here we go, down and over. And it looks like everyone's kind of going to the right a little bit there. And then to the left, the chicane. It's a really rather wide chicane. Oh, gosh. Yep. We should have focused on that. That was not great. That was not great at all. And Mitch is apparently our rival. Sorry, here's a tight corner coming in. This is just really, it's thrown me for a loop a little bit because it's a slightly different track configuration and layout than I'm used to. And so I'm really having to really focus in on where the AI are going because I don't remember this course, which puts me at a huge disadvantage. And other than that, all right, we're going to the right. That's right. Oh, gosh. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. If I can finish in the top 5, I will be happy. Our lack of really good solid knowledge of this course is not serving us very, very well at all. This is definitely, I mean, it's lap 2 out of 6, anything can happen, but definitely while we're talking and trying to learn a course, it's not ideal at all. This is really not what you want to be doing when you're trying to race in a top tier series against A-class rated AI. Is learn the course as you go through, which is not what you want to do. There is definitely going to be a cost to that. And right now, we got to slow down going over this jump. That way we can bite in here. For some of these other cars, they can really dig in and they can really kind of hold their friction and hold their own as they go and turn through these corners here. But the Sunrise Super specifically, well, they just try to spin us out and it did not go well for them. The Sunrise Super specifically, once it gets sideways, it likes to keep going, not in the forward direction, but in the sideways direction. And it'll go sideways fast, but that's not helpful for your lap times. Now, we're here in 4th place. We're, again, racing Ryza for position. We're going to try to feather the throttle, hammer it in a little bit there. Really just trying to get the Sunrise Super to bite. We have a little bit of breathing room, so we just got to focus in on staying close to these front 3 cars up here, or at least 2 in front of us. I have a feeling that Strangelove, which is an amazing name, is going to be definitely kind of gapping the rest of us here. They already are 4 seconds above 2nd place up there. So Ryza going for a big pile of speed and cutting across the track. That is a mistake. Thankfully, we're able to take advantage of that. Now we're in 3rd place here. We just have to get up here to Zapak and Strangelov in front of them. But again, I'd be happy for a podium. That would be fantastic. Top 5 I'd be happy with as well. We still have a number of laps to go. Anything could happen. And, we're not necessarily universally better than Zapak right now at all. They are definitely faster through a good chunk of this course. tap the brakes or get the car to set, and we can get up here and hopefully try to go full throttle. Watch that car on the outside. There we go. There we go. That's poorly placed position there for us to really kind of run this car to its limits out to the outer edge of the track, going towards the start finish line. That would be horrible if we ended up smacking into that burning wreck of a car up there. Now we don't want to get this too much there. You can unsettle the car and you can roll this car, especially with a Sunrise Super. That's not ideal. We're pedaling fast and as fast and as fast as we can. Strangelov is not really gaining distance on us, but we're not necessarily gaining distance on them or second place here too much. Zapak looks like they made a mistake. That's all right. We're going to get in here. Oh, we misjudged where the course went. That's a mistake on our part. I'm going to try to just kind of goose it as fast as I can. They're getting a little bit sideways. We're getting some speed, and we're going to slam the brakes. Here we go. Get on the inside here if we can. Pop them in the nose. There they go. We spun them out. Don't know if that was a real spin out or just what the game was giving us. They're a few seconds back. Oh, boy. Sunrise. There we go. Let off the throttle. Stab the brake a little bit. Get that back end to settle in. And we definitely look like we spun them out. Oh, gosh. Got to watch out there. And someone smacked that car. It's further down the track. Zapak is way, way back there. So that's good. Now we just got to focus in here on this last 1.5 laps on getting closer to Strangelov. Now we are managing to do that. It looks like there are a couple corners that we have really kind of gotten our chance to get in here coming up. If we're lucky, we can. Oh, we messed this up though, so we did not set ourselves up for victory. Coming up here through these corners coming up, we've managed to get a little bit closer to the AI, the cars coming up here, specifically this corner series here. We have been much, much faster through these and much smoother than the other cars. And even with that bit of a setback we managed to get into there, we definitely made this work. And I really want to hammer down through here, but not worth it. So slam the brakes. There it is. Set the car. Get it into a slight slide and hammer in a little bit more. We're going to get up the hill and brake late under the throttle. Get the car to set. Avoid that non-breakable concrete barrier out there. And we're getting real close, ladies and gents, to Strangelov. This is definitely a possibility. We could win this. Oh, as long as we don't mess up too badly, I think we'll be okay. We just really have to focus and focus and focus, which is admittedly really hard to do while you're talking and trying to think through what you're going to say as well. So with that, there it is. We're getting on the inside. They are into the outside wall. There it is. We got ourselves a little bit of speed, a little bit of space. Looks like Strangelov is definitely a racing AI. They were not very interested in smashing into us too much. And this right here, as long as we can make it through this corner all right, not ideal, but we're getting through it. We can really kind of cement the gap that we have. And hopefully we can set this as another win. But we don't want to celebrate too soon. I am not the greatest driver, and this car is a little bit jumpy, a little bit not ideal sometimes. It reacts occasionally a little unexpected, and it really depends on how you apply the brake and the throttle, on whether the front end or the back end sets in first, kind of on terrain. We have it set to be a little bit stiff, so it's not as forgiving as it otherwise would be. But we're doing all right. We just got to kind of feather it through here. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, crossing the finish line. And there's Dakota Snake, almost completely lapping them there. 1 minute and 4.163. That's not too bad. And in fact, that is the fastest lap out of, it looks like I don't even see any 105s. So that is pretty darn awesome. That is really a really good start to this series. 2 solid wins. I'm kind of a little bit surprised. I'm honestly a little bit surprised. So going into our third race here, our standings, we are in first place by 80 points. So Ezekiel Rage there, again, doing a really good job. Consistency, even back there in Zapak, doing a pretty decent job. Ryza did not have a really good finish. They really kind of fell off there once they spun themselves out. They were, again, ahead of us in that last race. And Strangelov didn't start very good, but had a very good finish. So as long as we continue to finish okay and we're consistent and we avoid a lot of wrecks for the next 6 races, I think we'll be all right. But as history has shown, I mean, this is the next episode in the series, and we've got 20 plus episodes prior to this that have proven that, well, we can snatch defeat from the jaws of victory rather well. So here we go into Boulder Bank Circuit, main route reverse. Again, this is not a usual direction I've raced on this track too often. It does have that crossover there, so we have to be a little bit careful because one way or the other, cars are going to get smashed, and it's probably going to be us if we get a little bit too far ahead or a little bit too far behind. This is a really fun course and another solid rhythm course, which is a very good style of course for this car, all things considered. We're going to rev it on up, watch those rear wheels spin. There we go. Oh, man, I love this car. It looks so, so good. And I really kind of watch these rocks there. They definitely exist. They are physicalized. And if you're not careful, they will just reach out and grab your car. And looks like we have a little bit of overcast weather up here, especially for this track. I really love kind of the weather being different here. There goes Ryza into the trees. Oh boy, that is. On one hand, I apologize. On the other hand, we got to make sure that we do what we got to do to get ourselves a good, solid finish. But yeah, normally a lot of times in multiplayer, you don't see poor weather conditions or different times of day, like early day, early evening. This looks really, really cool, and it really does remind me either of the upper Midwest, the Northeast a little bit here. Got to slow down just a little bit here. With those whoop-de-whoops, you will get pushed out there to the outside, and it's not ideal. Or maybe the Northwest, possibly, like the Pacific Northwest. I haven't been there in person, so I don't know if that's possibly a little bit accurate. I don't know if this weather is accurate to that. Oh, gosh, the Zapak had a bad bounce, got sideways, and Saki just nailed him. Oh, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. Now, here we go. Oh, Saki taken out. We got lucky threading the needle. That's how close this can get. This is how dangerous this can be. Now, Saki and Ryza is now suddenly taken over second place at 6 seconds back. And we just got to navigate this corner here. Again, we want to go through it quick. You don't want to slide to the outside wall, and you don't want to grab the rocks inside. But ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Just overcast off in the distance. This is a beautiful, beautiful classic look for this track. I love the ambiance. I love the weather to this. Just, it looks good. It reminds me of a lot of like your Lake Superior, rallies and stuff like that in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and elsewhere in the Midwest. Just, good stuff. But at the end of the day, we have a pretty demanding lead as long as we don't hose it up too much. Of course, we had to say that. There's that dude judging us, looking at the camera as a Positive Paul and Power Ogre. Oh my goodness, I don't even know who they are. They're 6 seconds back, and our car is generally in one piece. Again, we're racing on normal. A little bit slower through here. We don't have the suspension to really handle these whoop-de-whoops that easily, so we got to go a little slower than some other cars, so we can really put the power down elsewhere. So with that, we're going to try to stay out of the trees. We're going to try to watch for these crossovers here. And fingers crossed, this will go all right. Oh, man, we're going sideways. We're not going forward. There it is. Feather the throttle, and fingers crossed we can get through this okay. Oh, yeah, there we go. And we got our bonus target for leading the lap. And again, we got 10 seconds back there on Positive Paul. I'm going to leave it here for now, and we're going to check back in when something horrible happens in the crossover or we make a mistake. And it costs us position. So fingers crossed it works out okay. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have found out that there are only 3 of us left on the entire race. And Saki and McKelly back there, and of course ourselves. Even on normal difficulty settings, there are cars littered all over this track. Now, we're 117.537. We were the fastest lap of the entire series, and that's not too surprising for a couple different reasons. There were a lot of accidents. There was a lot of very close racing when that happens. It slows you down, as well as once the track gets littered with debris. Well, it's definitely harder to get fast laps, and our fastest laps were very, very early on. Definitely not in the second half of that race, but a win is a win. We're cruising through this. This is going a little bit easier than I expected, but we can't make the game any more difficult than we are, so that's all right. So we're going to be diving back into the Savalix Sandpit on the main route, which, as long as I've not gotten this all confused in the background and figured out, I should be all right. Our bonus targets are cause at least 1,000 damage and win by at least 50 meters. I think we're definitely going to be doing all right. So we're going to get stuck on into this. We're going to make this work. We're going to be having this be the last race of this particular episode, and we'll pick up on a brand new episode after this race, and we'll see what happens. I'm really, really stoked. This car looks so good. It feels really, really fun to drive, and there's some other really good racers here. There's some really, really good stuff. Just we've been managing to get in there and under the basically underneath the radar of a lot of these racers and kind of getting ahead of some of the crazy chaos. Now, I don't know if there's just a lot of wreckers and stuff like that. We're spinning out Ryza again. As I say that, I find that, it's a little ironic. Or maybe that phrase is ironic. I don't know. But needless to say, I feel like there are, talking and racing is very, very difficult. I feel like there's not as many pure racer AI, at least in this particular series, that we have right now. And it might be a lot more wreckers. or just generally very, very aggressive behavior. I'm just very, very surprised at the lack of forward progress for a lot of these AI racers and race cars. I mean, we got Saki and we got Zapak up there and Ezekiel right behind us, and they seem to be doing pretty good and holding their own. And we've got really, really well off, high-rated cars here in the series. And so at the end of the day, it's a matter of can we outrace these AI for long enough. And again, it seems like 3 laps is really a really good limit for them. But even on normal settings, to kind of preserve their cars and make them a little bit more resilient rather than on the realistic damage we started this series on a number of episodes ago, uh, they're still kind of having difficulties. So kudos to the AI and the developers kind of doing what they got to do. I mean, we're sitting here on a very, very nearly maxed out car, which is pretty darn cool. It drives fairly awesomely. It's a lot of fun. And I know racing against other humans and stuff like that on multiplayer, I'm definitely not that good. And against AI, it makes it look like I'm pretty decent, but I'm not. I'm just a kind of average individual with a really good set of equipment and good car. And, a decent number of hours into the game, just racing in general. So we'll finish off this race here, one way or the other. We'll finish off the series in the next episode, at least for this 2-part series here. And then we'll dive into possibly trying to get our hands on a slower car, slower A-class rated car, rather than going for some of the higher tier stuff. And we'll see if we can't hold our own. And fingers crossed, we'll see how that goes. But right now, we're trying to track down Stranglove. We know from the previous couple races, they're a really, really good racer. And I'm pretty sure they're a racing AI. They're not really taking crazy, ridiculous chances. They're not trying to wreck people. In fact, they try to avoid a wreck, which caused themselves to wreck one of our previous races in this series, in this episode. But you know what? Right now, they're kicking our butt. Absolutely. They are doing a really, really good job of just racing and definitely kind of showing us up a little bit. I'm really not doing a good job of hitting my marks, but we're going to try to get up there. We've got 2.5 laps. Oh, they're getting a little bit off course. They're giving us a chance. There it is. Oh, we don't want to roll the car. We don't want to roll the car. I had to get off the throttle. Hammer it down, and there they are. They're on our bumper. They knocked our bumper off, actually. Dustin knocked our spoiler off and all that. Oh, boy. And they're on our quarter panel. They're racing a little dirty. That's not too surprising. We've said that we've wanted to race a little dirty, and we've spun some racers out. We've spun poor Rise out, I think, every single race we had the opportunity to. And they've been a really, really good racer. So just got to get these marks here. We just got to settle down, take a deep breath in and out, and just focus in on hitting our marks, and we should be able to get around Stranglove. We're really relying on them to mess up a bit more. Maybe we can get through here a little bit quicker if we're lucky. But they have a really, really strong car. It's really well set up, and it's ideal for this particular course, especially with the AI that's matched to that car and that setup. So we just need to really focus in and hit our marks, and we can hopefully get around them and then really focus on defensive racing at that point. Try to keep them behind us if we can. So, I don't know. Not really sure if we can do it, but we'll try and we'll see how that goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever run across a car, whether it's AI or whatever, that you just could not beat? They are messing up again. They're going on the outside, but they have not hit the rocks this time. Over and under. Have you ever run into a car or a combo with an AI that you just have not been able to beat with your certain car, unless you're really kind of raced a little dirty? Well, let me know in the comment section down below. I think we might run into that situation here with Strangula for sure. They are a really, really good AI. They're a really good race car for this particular track. And unless we wreck them, or we get very, very lucky and they make a mistake, I don't think we're going to be able to get past them, at least with the car and the setup that we have right here. We're just not really set up very well to do that. They were able to get out of the corner much quicker than us because this car, when you try to put the power down, just likes to, slide sideways. However, I feel like we might be able to get into the corners a little deeper than them. We just can't take advantage of it too much. We're on the inside there. Can we make that work? A little bit. We're in front of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made the pass going into turn 5, or lap 5 out of 6. Now the question is, can we make it stick? We know we're not very fast through. They're on the outside getting around us. And they're not cutting to the inside yet. We're trying to get through. We're putting the power down. They're right on us. This is not ideal. Now, this is where they usually mess up, but they've usually been the lead car going into this situation before. And we're just making a meal out of this tire sale for every day. And they wreck. Even with a car in front of them. Oh, gosh. Even with a car in front of them, they were not able to get through that corner. So that is definitely a consistent issue for that particular AI and that car setup back there. And they are 1.5, 1.4, 1.5 seconds behind us. We just got to hit our marks, stay consistent, and we should be okay. Now, we're messing up here. I'm hitting the e-brake a little bit too early, not getting the car to really kind of spin where I need to go and the power to go down, but they're catching up, and now they're racing side by side with Zapak back there, which is exactly what we need. Side by side racing, especially with AI, even against other racers, will slow you down. Oh, and running into rocks, 'cause I'm sure that was placed there on purpose. Running into rock. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Running into rocks will definitely cause you problems. Squirrel knot. Okay, okay. Strangleoff is now our rival. Um, well, I was talking the talk. We mentioned earlier about messing this up. So far, it's not a catastrophic mess up. It's going to cost us some points, but uh, we'll see. Boy, Squirrel Knot is just up there, just trying to be aggressive and get us out of the race. And a Strangleoff Rex, they're sideways. Oh, man. Oh, baby. That is fantastic news. That is fantastic news. It wasn't just a little wreck. That was a big one. That was a big, big one. Now, Ryza is all over us now. I bet you they want a pile of revenge. And I can't blame them. We've spun them out every single race. I think this one, maybe we still have a chance. We'll see. Zapak back there is, oh boy. And Broodbacker, oh boy. I just gotta focus. I gotta focus. I gotta focus. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Here we go. Breathe in. Hit your marks. Hit your marks. Ryza's not that fast. This area there, we spun them sideways a little bit. And they're backwards. They're backwards. We've spun them out again. Ladies and gentlemen, the streak continues. Ryza could have had such a large number of good races. And we've just wrecked them every single time. But we finished second behind Zapak and Strangleov, right behind us. 1.11.76. Not the fastest, but not very far off the pace at all. At all. We were about half a second-ish, a second faster between Strangleov and Zapak, so that's not too shabby. And we got ourselves a cool wheel set for the Speed Demon, which is always a lot of fun. So that's good. That's really good. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that. Taking a look at the standings there, we are definitely firmly entrenched in first place. We're over 150, maybe just shy of 150 points, or just over 150 points there with the lead going into the last 4 races. And the next one here in Boulder Bank Circuit is going to be an adventure. So thank you much, ladies and gents, for stopping on by, sticking around. It's been a blast. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. And I will see you on the next episode. Thank you much. Have a good one. Aw, yeah.